Friday Hockey Think Tankers. Welcome to another Friday Face-Off sponsored by Titan Battle Gear. If you heard our podcast a few months ago with the founder of Titan Battle Gear, you know why we're excited about what they're building. Titan is changing how players think about their base layer protection. It's Velcro free, comfortable, breathable, lightweight, and made with the highest cut rated resistant fabric on the market. It's no wonder that they've recently become an official partner of USA Hockey to help advance player safety. This is definitely the gear that we want our athletes wearing. Hockey Think Tank listeners can get 15% off at titanbattlegear.com/GMBM. Let's go.
It's so comfortable.
What an idiot.
Nice work. Oh, I absolutely love it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday Face-Off to everybody out there, and excited about our topic here today. A little bit more of a serious one. It's actually kind of a dovetail to our last episode that we did on our short shifts, where we talked about the quicksand, getting out of quicksand. You feel like you can't do anything right out on the ice. How do you get out of it? How do you get your confidence back? And Victor Hedman, want to talk about Victor Hedman, guys. And he came out with a statement and then did a press conference after the Tampa Bay Lightning were eliminated from the playoffs. And it all related around mental health. And so what I want to do quickly here is I want to read his statement that he put out on social media. And then Vex and I are going to talk a little bit about our reactions to it. And so this is what Victor Hedman said. I've spent most of my life in this game and nearly all of my career with this organization. Wearing this jersey and serving as captain is the greatest responsibility of my professional life. That responsibility doesn't only apply on the ice. Over the past couple of months, I made the decision to step away and focus on my mental health. It was not an easy decision, but it was the right one. I've always believed that being a leader means doing what's best for the team. In this case, it also meant doing what was necessary to take care of myself so I can be the best player, teammate, husband, and father I expect to be. I've been fortunate to have strong support from my family, my teammates, and the organization, my therapist, and I'm in a much better place today. This is something that exists in our game more than people see. If this moment helps make it easier for others to take care of themselves when they need to, that matters. I'm proud of this team, and I look forward to what's ahead. So as most of you know who follow the NHL anyway, he has not been with the team for an extended period of time, didn't play in the playoffs. And when he put the statement out there, there was various different reactions. There were some people that were like, quit crying, baby, you're making millions of dollars, to play a game. And then there's other people on the other side that are like, we're really happy that you're taking care of your mental health. And so I thought it would be really important, honestly, is probably the right word, for Vex and I to talk about it. We are not Victor Hedman, but we have played hockey at higher levels and understand the nuances and the ups and downs and the mental healthness of the game. And so, Vex, I'll put it to you before I give my thoughts on this. But, hearing that statement, reading that statement, understanding Victor Hedman, here this guy is. He's an Olympian. He's a two-time Stanley Cup winner. Is it 2 or 3? Tampa, I can't even remember. They've won a lot. But captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning. What are your thoughts on him taking time away for his mental health, leaving the team? Go ahead.
I mean, dude, you got to do what you got to do. You're a human being first and a hockey player second. And honestly, you're a father and a husband first over a hockey player too, at least the way that I see it. So you have to do whatever you have to do. So it is what it is. If that's what's best for him, then that's what's best for him. And that's life. People getting mad about it. It's like, what, dude? Shut up. I don't know what the ramifications are for his salary, if that goes back to the team, if he's taken a leave of absence for mental health. I don't know. Maybe that's why people are upset or paying you all this money to do that. But does the team even lose the money? Do they get it back? I don't know how any of that works.
No, he gets paid his money.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, I don't know, bro. You have to take care of yourself. First and foremost, you can't let that stuff slip. We know what happens, especially with men who have, very intense jobs that have a lot of scrutiny behind them and tons of people, in their ears all the time. I don't know what to say other than you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's what he had to do. That's what he had to do.
And as a leader, you say this a lot, you got to be selfish to be selfless. You have to take care of yourself. If you're not at your best, or if you're not feeling like you're, at where you need to be, then you can't lead other people, because you lead by example first. You really do. And you can't say anything if you're not living it yourself. You can't tell people to be confident if you're not confident yourself. You can't tell people to work hard if you feel like you're in a rut and you can't put everything that you have into something. And so, I don't know, you say that a lot. And I believe it's the whole analogy with, when the air stuff, what's the thing that comes down on the plane and they tell you, put yours on first.
Yeah. The masks. Yeah.
The masks, right? Put yours on first before you put your kids on. They say that it's every plane ride you go on. And that's a great analogy for this.
Right. Yeah, dude. It's I don't know what anybody, if somebody feels that strongly that they need to take a leave of absence, like, I'll let them take a leave of absence. What do I say? No, you feel you need it, and that's what you have to do to be your best, and that's what you have to do to be your best. Anybody who's mad at that, I don't know. Kind of weird.
So I think nobody should ever judge somebody if they're not living a day in their shoes.
Yeah.
And we live in a world right now where it's so easy to judge other people, because all you have to do is get onto an app, and spew out whatever it is on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever app you're using for social media. And so I wanted to just kind of read what I wrote, because that was the best way for me to kind of get my thoughts across on this. And then we can kind of talk about it, because there's a couple things in there that I think are good talking points for the two of us. So first of all, this is what I said on social media the other day after this came out. Hedman did not have to put out this statement. It's going to create controversy and negative opinions, but that's why it's so important that he did. Yeah, they make millions, but being a professional athlete is hard. The constant judgment from other people is one thing, but the constant pursuit of being great is even harder. Other people's expectations do not even come close to comparing how hard these players are on themselves. And when these type of high achievers get older, it's not just trying to be the best player they can be. It's striving to be the best husband, dad, friend, etc., that they can be on top of that. That load can be exhausting. You can't be of service to others without taking care of yourself first. If you're the best that you can be, you'll be able to lead the way. You'll be able to lead way better than if you're mentally and emotionally not at where you want to be. This post will no doubt get other people who want to achieve big things to be more willing to ask for help. That in and of itself makes it powerful and impactful. So a couple things on here that I want to ask you about. The first one is, I think a lot of people will talk about this and talk about other people's expectations, but what I think the public needs to understand is that people who play at this high of a level, who are captain of these teams, the expectations that they have for themselves is so much higher than any expectation anybody else can give them. And when they feel like they can't meet that expectation for whatever reason, maybe it's a physical injury, maybe it's a mental thing, maybe it's something life-wise, there's a myriad of different reasons. That is, you talk about quicksand. Like these guys put so much pressure on themselves to perform, and they care so unbelievably much. Like, a lot of these players could do better by caring less. That's just not the way that they're wired. I think you and I are probably wired the same way. If something is not where it needs to be, it hurts, like mentally, physically, all that kind of stuff. So that's the first thing I'll pose to you, is just like, people are going to hurl their insults and whatever about, oh, you're making millions, you baby. But like, dude, like, the thing that probably is hurting him the most mentally is him not meeting the expectations that he has for himself, and being able to be the best that he can be for his teammates.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's very vague too. We don't know like what's going on. So it's like, it's even hard to like even speculate,
right.
As mental health, it could be a million different things, who knows? It could be something else. Like, who knows what it really is. It's just, again, like, if that's what he has to do, then that's what he has to do. And I can see that there could be ramifications of that from other teams wanting to sign him or not sign him later in his career, like things like that. And I'm sure he took that into consideration. I'm sure that his advisors, agents, confidants, mentors, all those people talked to him all about this stuff. And he believed that it was more important to take a leave of absence. So, that tells you how strongly he felt he needed to do that. So if you need to do that, then you need to do that, and then again, like the world I don't know, who cares what the world thinks about it, but there could be good or bad ramifications to come from that. Because it could be he's a way, way, way better player when he comes back, which everybody would then be happy that he just missed a short amount of time. Just talking about like how the public is looking at this, and in the long run, you'd probably be happier for that. What if he goes and wins 3 more Stanley Cups because he took this time and learned how to do whatever, get through he's going through? You'd be happy about that. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't listen to people in the peanut gallery.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about too was, you and I have in similar and different ways gone through this a little bit, but when you get married and then you have kids, especially, and you're not just thinking for one, but now you're thinking for 2, or you're thinking for 3 or 4, or in my case, even 5 now, things change. And when you are a high achiever, you want to be the best at everything that you do, right? Like you want to be the best dad, husband, professional athlete in Hedman's case. It's nearly impossible to be the best at all 3 of those things at the same time. You have to sacrifice some of your family life to be the best that you can be at your job. You have to sacrifice a little bit of your job to be the best at your family life. You just physically can't be around because you're traveling so much as a professional athlete. And when you're a professional athlete, most guys, it's hard to turn it off. You talk about going through a slump or quicksand, you bring that home. And that affects your wife and that affects your kids, And so that's a mental load that, Hedman's got, I looked it up. He's got 2 sons. That is a mental load when you feel like, especially, you are not the best dad that you can be to your kids or the best husband to your wife. It's going to affect how you play too. And getting that all squared away for a lot of high achievers is really, really hard because you want so badly to dedicate the time that is necessary to be great at all 3 of those things. It's just realistically not possible. And so I think a lot of lessons that we all have to learn when we do want to be great at something is, how do you compartmentalize?
Yeah.
How do you understand that presence in terms of being there presently, like not physically, but just like mentally being present and being able to leave things at the rink or whatever. Yeah. I'm 40 and I'm not great at that. And I'm not making $10 million playing in the NHL, And so I feel like, again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Hedman, but I do know from his statement and knowing a lot of players that have played at that level, that's hard for a lot of guys to especially when you get a little bit older. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I've dealt with that. I'm sure you have too. It's a real thing, man.
That's a real thing. That hits for a lot of dads, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's very tough to try to be the best at more than one thing. Something's got to suffer. And it's, long days, long nights. Yeah, that hits, man. That hits.
It's really interesting though. I'll never forget, we did a team building activity, and I know we're past time here, but we did a team building activity at Cornell, and I've done this with other teams too, where we had the guys in a room, and if they wanted to, they shared the best day of their life and the worst day of their life, and it's a really, really powerful activity. And I'll never forget, we had a kid, I don't know, I probably shouldn't say his name, but it doesn't, whatever. But his dad worked in pro hockey, was a coach in pro hockey. And he talked about the best day of his life was when his dad missed a game, coaching a game, to come to a really important game that he was playing in prep school and surprised him. And he ended up having like an incredible game, and that's where, again, it goes to like presence. not physically present, but when you are present, be there and be all there. And that's a lesson that I've had to learn. I traveled so much, as a recruiter. This was before I had kids, but then traveled a lot with the hockey think tank and the stuff that I'm doing now. And I used to beat myself up really, really bad about not being around as much as I wanted to be. But then you learn that it's like, that's not really as important as the quality of time that you have when you are around, and that story about the kid that I coached at Cornell, his dad was always gone, he was always in another city and coaching and all that kind of stuff. But then he came that one time and like, that meant that was the best day of his freaking life.
Yeah. So cool. Dude.
So like, again, it's not the amount of time that's important, but it's the quality of time that you have that's really important. If you can obviously marry the two, you get both, amazing. Yeah. But again, if you're a high achiever, you have to sacrifice different things, and time is probably a big thing that you're going to have to sacrifice with your loved ones or with hobbies or whatever, right? But just like understanding that the quality of time that hits.
Even just dads, like dads are usually, not always, but usually, more of a provider role. Like that's how we are, like mammalian brain is like, woman stay in cave, man go club animal and bring it back to cave. Like a lot of men still like feel that way and feel like they've got to provide for their family. And so like balancing that is hard, like trying to make sure that they're taken care of. And if anything happens, like they're set up for success and safety and stuff like that, and thinking about that. And then also trying to be there. And, to all the dads out there, my dad worked so hard and still came to so much, and like, I look back, I'm like, God, man, that was so cool. That was so impressive how he did all that. And I know for a lot of dads, this is something that's hard for them, myself included. So to all the dads out there, if you're listening in the car with your kid, appreciate you, see you, respect you.
Totally, man. And so again, like this is, I'm so, I don't know him, but so proud of Victor Hedman for coming out and kind of saying what he did. I think it will empower other people, whether that's a man or a woman, but particularly dudes, like to ask for help. We don't like doing that. It's uncomfortable for us. It's uncomfortable for everybody, but like, I think he's going to help a lot of people. And that's why I think what he did was great. And, just really cool that he did that. So take care of yourselves, guys. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We all have at some point, and you're not alone. And when you ask for help, you realize you're not alone. There's other people going through stuff probably similar than you. And when you can find that community and be vulnerable about it, that's when healing happens. That's when, strength comes back. And so good job, Hedman. Good job, man. Appreciate you. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. Boom.